welcome to another video. In today's lesson we're going to learn how to make a pair of slippers. This is going to be a series of videos as there are 6 different sizes and I've broken them up into 6 different tutorials. All the links will be below in the description box for the different sizes. If you are using sports weight, 8 ply or double knit yarn, I suggest that you use the next size up in the videos. As you can see from this photo, there are different widths. A slipper is very easy to adjust the length, so as long as you have the width right, you can make the length the size that you desire. All sizes also have a free written pattern. You can find the link to my website and the pattern in the description box below the video. In today's video, we'll be using Red Heart Super Saver in the colour blue. You will need about 23 grams or about 0.8 of an ounce, so it doesn't use much yarn at all. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies, we will need a yarn needle with a large eye, a pair of scissors. These scissors are now available on my website. I will put the link below so you can check them out. We're going to need some worsted weight yarn. This colour is blue. That's the actual name of the yarn on the label. That's pretty self-explanatory, wasn't it? And we're going to need a crochet hook to go with our yarn, but we need one that is smaller than what's recommended. This is a 4.5mm crochet hook. It's about equivalent to a size G in the US. I don't think the US actually have a 4.5, but what you need is 2 sizes smaller than what you would normally need. So it's a 5.5 that's regularly recommended for this one, but we want one that's 2 sizes smaller, because the one in between those would be a 5mm and this one's a 4.5. So what we need to do is make a magic ring. You could use the chain 4 and join method, but I'm going to use the magic ring for this project. Wrap the yarn around your fingers, grab the 2 loops, and then put your crochet hook through the middle and pull through your yarn and chain 3. What we want to do now is work 2 double crochets into the center ring, chain 1. I'm just going to pull that a little bit smaller because it's easier to work with when it's not so big. We're going to work 3 double crochets into the center ring, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the middle again, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the center again, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 6 lots of 3 altogether, so we need chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we need 6 altogether, so 1 more, 3 double crochets. It's 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then we are going to join to the top of the chain 3, which is over here. And join with a slip stitch. And we can pull that center one closed. We will sew it in again. It may get loose, but we can sew it in at the end of our project. What we want to do now is slip stitch into the top of the next 2 stitches. So the next 2 double crochets, slip stitch, and again, and also slip stitch into the chain 1 space. We're going to work a chain 3 and 3 double crochets into that same chain 1 space. So into each chain 1 space around, we will be working 3 double crochets. So finding our next chain 1 space. The next one. And if you can't tell where the chain 1 space is and it doesn't stick out for you, count across 3 stitches. So you've just worked one there, 1, 2, 3, and in between the next 2 stitches is where our chain 1 space is. When we get to the end, we're going to join into the top of the chain 3. Just going to flip that out, easy to work with. Come on. See, I have these problems too. It's not just you. So we're going to slip a stitch to join. So we've got the beginning of our slipper. And what we're going to do now is slip stitch across the next 2 stitches and also over to that space. I'm just going to zoom in just a smidge. So into those 2 stitches there with a slip stitch, and we also want to slip stitch into the space. Chain up 3. Work 2 double crochets into that same space, and in every space around. So this is basically exactly the same as the last one that we did. So you know what you're doing. I will meet up to you when we get back around here, working 3 double crochets into every space around. When we get to the end, we're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. So now we've got our, that's what, 3rd row, 1, 2, 3. So altogether we need 4 rows for the toe section. So again, slip stitching across. Chaining up 3, and we're repeating the last round that we did again. So it's 2 double crochets into that same space. And into the next space, we're going to work 3 double crochets, and in every space around we're going to work 3 double crochets. And I will meet you when we get back to the beginning. So I slip stitch to join, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and I think I may have said a mistake before. We said we needed 4 rows for the toe. We actually need 5. So what we need to do, which is very easy, we just need to complete another row, another round I should say. It's a round if it's worked and joined, and it's a row if it's worked in a row and it's not joined. Alright, so we need to slip stitch into that space as well. Chain 3. And you probably already know what to do without me telling you. So 2 double crochets into the next space, 3 double crochets. Repeat this all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end when we get to the end of the round. So what we need to do now is slip stitch across again to the space, but this time we're going to be working on the sides of the slipper. We're going to chain up 3, 2 double crochets in the same space, and we're going to work around putting 3 double crochets into each space just like we did on the row before, but we're going to stop 2 spaces from the end. So we need the last 2 spaces to, we don't work actually in the last 2 spaces. So when we come back, so we've started here, when we come back around, these 2 here are not going to be worked. So let's continue on. You can speed ahead if you want to, we'll just take our time getting around there. What is that knocking noise? So I've worked my way around, so we've gone around there, and then these 2 spaces at the end of the round, we're not working into those, so what we need to do is chain 3, turn our work around, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into that next space. And in each space across, again, just like normal, working 3 double crochets. And when we get to the end, what we need to do, because we're working rows now, we want to imitate what we did at the beginning. So see how this is just 1 stitch by itself? We want to imitate this up this end. So what we need to do is just double crochet into that last stitch. Okay, so now we're going to chain 3. And we want to work into that space here. And work another double crochet, so we've got 2 altogether into the space plus the chain 3. And what we do on the sides is we alternate between the the stitch that's here by itself, and then the next row up will have a group of 3. So work across, working into each space, working 3 double crochets. And then up here, we want to imitate what we did at the beginning here. So we've got 3 at the beginning, so we want 3 at the end. So into that space, work 3 double crochets. Okay, so it's starting to form a slipper now. And on this section we do need 4 rows, so that's 1, 2 and 3, and we want to work 4 rows, so we need another one, so chain up 3. And remember how I said we want to alternate between the 1 stitch by itself and then a group of 3, so our next row up needs to be 1 stitch by itself, because there's 1 there, then there's a group of 3, and then 1 by itself. So we know that we need to work into this space and not into here somewhere. Well, plus there's no hole to work in, so that will remind you too. So 3 double crochets into each space across. And if at any time that you do need to add more rows or less rows, you're more than welcome to do that. These patterns are quite easy to adjust length and things like that, so that's good. So say that the front of this slipper fits, but when you've done this amount of rows it's too short, you're more than welcome to add more rows. And of course if it's too big you can take one off. Okay, so like I said, we need to imitate. We've got one by itself, so we need one up this end by itself, so that of course you know what to do. Into the last stitch, we'll do a double crochet. So we needed 4 rows in this top section of the slipper, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you've made the newborn or any of the other sizes, sometimes we finish and our yarn is attached on the bit closest to us, but at the moment it's on the bit closest away from it. Closest away from us, that didn't make sense. On the bit furthest away from us. And we want to work around the outside, but we want it to look good, because if we turn it this way and work around the outside, we've got to slip stitch it together. Okay, so picking up your yarn, we want to work around the outside of the slipper. So this time we're going to slip stitch across here into that sort of, it's the top edge there, which is the corner. I'll just slip stitch here. And if you haven't made any of the other slippers, that would have made absolutely no sense to you, but that's what we need to do. We need to slip stitch across. On some of the other sizes, we finish on a different row and we don't slip stitch across, we just continue on. And like I said, if you haven't watched the other videos, you're probably wondering what on earth I'm talking about. So now we need to work a round of single crochet around the opening of our slipper. Now, because there's not really stitches to work into, like proper stitches, it's kind of like just put your hook where it fits. But we want to make it look even at the same time, so that it looks like we've actually got into a stitch. So we can go into here. Try and go under 2 loops if you can, that will make a nice neat edge. This one we can actually go into that big hole. We can go into there. Into here. And then under 2 loops. And then when we get to the instep section, there is actually real stitches because we're just continuing across here. So that's easy peasy. When we get to this shell that's closest to the side, that's where we work to slip stitch over to the space. So we actually have to get underneath the slip stitches. Now this can be a little bit tricky, but be forceful and it will go in. See how we've got a gap here? Means our stitch isn't close enough. We don't want gaps. There we go, that's better. A little tiny gap, but that won't notice. So as you can see, I'm being quite forceful with that part there. Because you've got the slip stitch in there, it may be a little bit tight, but it will go in. So work your way around until you get back to the back seam. We need to find the first single crochet, and we're going to work a slip stitch. You can work another round of single crochet if you want to. I'm just doing one. Or did I do 2 on that one? Oh no, I've done 2 on this one, so I can show you what to do. So you could have worked 1, but on the other one I've made 2, so I better do that one the same. Especially if I give these to someone. And we're going to single crochet, and this one's easy because we've already got our stitches to work into. We're just going to single crochet into each stitch around. And we're going to go all the way around until we get back to the beginning here, and I'll meet you there. Slip stitch to the first single crochet, and then we're going to cut off our yarn, but we need to cut off about 6 inches, which is approximately 15 centimeters, because we want to sew up that back seam. We're just going to pull this straight out, turn it inside out so we can easily get to our ends. And what I'm going to do is, because we've got that big section there that's already joined, I'm just going to thread my needle over that way so it's ready for starting to sew here. Then I'm just going to sew up the back seam, and I'm going to go through both loops on all sections. So on my website I have lots and lots and lots of free written patterns, and they all have video tutorials to go with them. So if you want to learn to read a pattern, pick one of the easy ones and you'll have a video tutorial to guide you as well. So if you get stuck, you can watch the video tutorial. So what I'm going to do is just do that one more time and then go through that loop, pull through, and I'm going to sew my ends. And because that's only a short one, I'm going to go back through the other way. But don't pull it really tight because you want that to sit properly. There we go. Snip that off. And we want to sew in the toe one as well. You may need to pull that so it's come loose again, so we'll just pull that tight. And I just like to weave it under those stitches of the double crochet, right near where it gathers together. And then what I like to do is I like to just make a little knot, go back through the loop, back through there. That's just knotted that off, and then sew it in again. And I find that if with the magic ring, that helps with it coming loose. I did have a project that I did, and it gradually worked its way loose. I mean, it didn't matter, I just sewn it back in, but it can work its way loose if you haven't tied it off. Cheeky little thing. So snipping that off, and turn that around. So cute. So now we have, what am I doing? There we go. We have two little slippers. That's so cute. How adorable are they? I don't know anybody this small. Oh wait, yeah I do. Ooh, these might fit. I know a, what is he? About 1.5. They might fit him. So guess what, he's going to have a new pair of slippers. So thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, as there will be plenty of more videos. I upload once a week, video tutorials. Please share your creations on our Facebook page. We love to see everybody's creation, and of course you can check out other people's work. Yeah, that's about it for today. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crocheting.